We're living in this age of just unbelievable amounts of information. But how did we get here? Seriously, how did we go from a world where data was scarce to one where we're basically drowning in it? And maybe more importantly, how did that massive flood of data become the fuel for the AI gold rush we're seeing today? Let's follow that trail, from raw numbers all the way to intelligent machines.
Just let this number sink in for a second. 90%. According to IBM, that's how much of the data in the entire world was created in just the last 2 years. That is insane. It means almost all of recorded human history, think ancient scrolls, the Library of Alexandria, everything, is just a drop in the bucket compared to what we've generated since, the last World Cup. This isn't just a flow of information, it is a full-on deluge.
So what on earth do you do with all of that? Well, humanity's journey has always been about this kind of progression, right? We take raw data, just the facts and figures, and we turn it into useful information. Then we organize that information into knowledge, and then, hopefully, we apply that knowledge to gain a little bit of wisdom. This is the exact path we're going to follow in this explainer.
All right, so where do we start? We have to start with the problem itself. Before we could even dream up solutions, we had to face this pretty startling new reality. We were completely drowning. We were creating data so fast it was just way beyond our ability to make any sense of it.
This challenge got so big, so out of hand, that it actually needed a name: big data. And look, it wasn't just about the sheer size of it all. It was how tangled and messy and complex this information was. Our old tools just broke. You couldn't just use a bigger Excel spreadsheet for this stuff. We needed totally new ways of thinking just to find the patterns hiding inside.
So to really get a handle on big data, experts came up with what they call the 4 Vs. First up, as you can see, is volume. We're talking about the sheer scale of it, like the 12 terabytes of tweets that get created every single day. Then you've got velocity, which is the speed it's all happening at. Think of financial institutions needing to analyze 5 million trades a minute to spot fraud. Next is variety. Data isn't just numbers in a list anymore. It's text, video, sensor readings, you name it. And finally, there's veracity. And this is a big one. Can we even trust this data? If a third of business leaders admit they don't even trust their own information, we've got a serious multi-layered problem on our hands.
Okay, so we've established we have this massive, ridiculously fast, totally messy, and sometimes untrustworthy flood of data. What's the next logical step? Well, we started building tools. We had to. Tools specifically designed to find the valuable signals buried in all of that noise.
And this brings us to something called business intelligence, or BI for short. This was really our first serious attempt to tame the beast. Instead of just going with a gut feeling, companies could now use BI tools to dig into their own data and make genuinely smarter decisions. And we see it everywhere, from giants like Walmart fine-tuning their supply chains to, believe it or not, the New England Patriots using analytics to build championship-winning football teams.
And hey, this wasn't just some abstract theory. As this chart shows, the impact was very real and you could actually measure it. A study out of MIT found that companies that really embrace this data-driven approach were 5% more productive and 6% more profitable than their competitors. Now, that might not sound like a huge number, but in a cutthroat market, that's a massive advantage. That's a real game changer.
Business intelligence was powerful, no doubt, but it was still about humans asking the right questions of the data. The next leap forward was, it was revolutionary. What if we could build machines that could learn from all that data by themselves?
This shift was a huge turning point for artificial intelligence. We basically moved from what you could call classical AI, which was all about programming and hard-coded rules, like a chess program that knows every possible move, to modern AI, which works more like a curious student. Instead of being fed rules, it's fed data. Just immense, staggering amounts of data. Honestly, it's the difference between memorizing a book and actually learning how to read.
Now, this revolution did not happen overnight. As you can see from this timeline, the core idea of artificial intelligence has been kicking around since 1956. For decades, it was a really slow burn. But then, right around the 2000s, 2 critical things happened. We got big data, and we got a massive increase in computing power. That combination was the spark that lit the fuse on the machine learning explosion we see today, embedding AI into pretty much everything we do.
And that brings us to right now. The AI boom is in full swing, and it has all the hallmarks of a new gold rush. But there is a fascinating twist to this one. It's a gold rush where only a handful of companies own all the shovels.
Sarah Myers-West from the AI Now Institute just nails the new reality with this quote. "The hard truth is, to build powerful AI, you need an absolutely staggering amount of computing power. We're talking about huge data centers packed with specialized computer chips.
And who owns and controls all that infrastructure? It's a very, very small club: Amazon, Google, and Microsoft.
And you can see this dynamic playing out in real time. Just look at a company like Anthropic. They're a startup that was literally founded with the mission of being an ethical alternative to big tech. But to get the raw computing power they need to train their models, they've had to sign multi-billion-dollar deals with both Amazon and Google. It just goes to show you, it doesn't matter how great your idea is, at the end of the day, you depend on the infrastructure built by the giants.
So this mix of concentrated power and these eye-watering valuations is forcing a really critical question across the tech and finance worlds. Are we watching the next great technological leap, or are we living inside another tech bubble that's just waiting to pop?
And there are two very different ways of looking at this. On one side, you've got strategists, like those at JP Morgan, who see a classic bubble. They see it's all fueled by hype around chatbots that, let's be honest, often make some pretty basic mistakes. But on the other side, you have people like the CEO of Exxon, who argues the market isn't even close to being saturated. He thinks we're just seeing the very tip of the iceberg, and the truly transformative, large-scale uses of AI haven't even started yet.
Okay, so far this whole story has been about us building tools to solve our problems. But that leads to a final, and maybe more unsettling question. What happens when the tools we build become so complex, so powerful, that we aren't really in control of them anymore?
This quote from a Wired investigation into Wall Street is just chilling, because it isn't science fiction. It describes the reality of modern finance. That old, iconic image of traders shouting on the floor of the stock exchange, that's been replaced by the quiet, cold hum of servers, where algorithms make trades faster than any human could ever hope to, talking only to other algorithms.
And if you want to understand the scale of that takeover, look at this. By some estimates, computer-driven, high-frequency trading now makes up around 70% of all the trading volume on Wall Street. The machines aren't just a part of the market anymore. For the most part, they are the market.
And this kind of automation can have consequences we just can't predict. I mean, take the flash crash on May 6, 2010. In just 5 minutes, the stock market went into a complete nosedive. What happened was thousands of different trading algorithms, all designed to react to tiny market shifts, started reacting to each other, creating this terrifying cascading feedback loop of panic that spiraled out of control. And the humans, all they could do was stand by and watch, completely helpless. It was this horrifying glimpse into a future where our own systems can behave in ways we just don't understand.
Which leaves us with this one final thought. This whole journey, from data to BI to AI, it's all been part of this human quest for understanding. We built these incredible, powerful tools to make sense of a really complex world. But as these tools start to become a kind of alien intelligence themselves, operating at a scale and a speed that's beyond our own comprehension, we have to stop and ask, what happens when we no longer understand our own creations?